as we say in Farsi, har rozetan Nowruz, Nowruzetan Piruz, Eid Shama Mubarak. And to help those composting efforts, they get a little bit of help from these wiggling critters right here. We're exposed to radiation every day through household items like this microwave, and we use it to heat up some leftovers. There's also some buildings in our area that could give off radiation as well. The sensors are paired with a mobile app. And once the hazard is detected, the cyclist will be notified of its location so they can avoid it and ride safely. Students get to work together, hands-on, building electric vehicles just like this one. This park is known as 6th Street Park, but the City Council proposed a couple weeks ago to rename this park Ragsdale MLK Park. This is an additional renaming. A typical day for these high school students begins in the auto lab.
Where we don't know where the wiring harness is.
Some students get to work on gas cars. Others are learning how to put together an electric vehicle from scratch.
Right now, we've got all of the suspension done. We've got the motor in. We're working now on the battery compartment side of it.
The vehicle the students are working on comes from the company's Switch vehicles.
That's for the charging unit right here.
Their Switch Lab program provides schools with a build-it-yourself EV kit that students work on for the semester. Students get to work together, hands-on, building electric vehicles just like this one. Students say the building process of an EV is challenging.
It's bent so it doesn't move. A success was getting the steering finally put together and working, because that took me forever. I probably put 48 hours into the steering because I couldn't get it fixed.
Aiden Bratton is one of the students who gets to work on this car designed specifically for the classroom.
There's obviously no doors, but you just climb in through the window basically. There's going to be a front windshield. There's going to be a hood. It's going to be powered by 2 really big batteries.
The car is a 3-wheeler and fits 2 people, and while it may look simple, there's more to it.
There's a lot more to the electric vehicle, like a lot more electrical things that you need for the electrical vehicle to start. And then for the gas, I think all you need is like the engine, the water pump, and all that normal stuff.
To keep all these parts organized, Ramirez relies on interns like Brianna Ferguson.
A lot of wires, there's a lot of small parts, and it's hard to figure out what's what exactly when you're putting everything together.
They've been involved in the automotive program since freshman year and hope to go into the auto industry someday.
I definitely want to work on this stuff in the future because it seems as though it's going to be a lot bigger as time goes on.
That's all Ramirez wants for his students, to see them succeed.
If you look around my classroom, I have names of kids that have finished off and where they went to a trade school, they went to the military. I have a girl that's nuclear engineer, 4-year auto student in the Navy. So I want them to do something, and then I've done my job.
In Glendale, Autriya Maneshni, Cronkite News. The Arizona Worm Farm deals with a lot of food waste weekly.
We get green waste from salad producers that don't put them in those bags that go in your grocery store. We get horse manure from carefully curated stables, and we get ground landscape waste from the city of Phoenix from a landfill diversion program.
Instead of letting the waste pile up in the landfill, the 10-acre farm composts the garbage, turning it into fresh produce for everyone on the farm to eat.
What we're looking at right here in front of us is Brussels sprouts. Right there among your feet is going to be broccoli and cauliflower.
The farm doesn't use chemicals or pesticides for composting. They don't till the soil either. And to help those composting efforts, they get a little bit of help from these wiggling critters right here.
The type of composting that worms are used for is called vermicomposting. It's just the worms that are consuming your food waste, and then they're passing it on as their castings.
And this type of composting also helps with water conservation.
Any food that goes to the landfill, really, it's just a waste of water because of all the water that it took to manufacture those food items.
Waste Not is a local nonprofit that focuses on food rescue, and they share similar goals with the worm farm.
We conserved over 220 million gallons of water in just 1 year.
Waste Not picks up quality food from local businesses that would have otherwise gone to the landfill. They give the food to an Arizonan in need. By doing this, the nonprofit is able to save water and protect our groundwater.
Food rescue really saves water indirectly, and then also prevent the leachate from the landfills from going into our groundwater.
The lack of pesticide use at the worm farm also protects our groundwater. Brooks is hoping the farm's food rescue efforts is an inspiration to all.
That instead of throwing their garbage into that big container that's in front of your house that takes a diesel truck to come pick up, to take that food waste and put it into a raised bed garden in your backyard.
In Phoenix, Autriya Maneshni, Cronkite News. A sensor
That is the brain of the whole system.
to revolutionize biking safety
We're gonna see a change right here.
is coming out of an engineering lab at NAU. A dedicated team of students have been working on these sensors since last year.
Like on a weekly basis, we probably spend like 10 hours a week at least working on it.
The idea started back in 2018 when vehicles with safety technology were becoming popular. The engineering team decided to try similar technology on a bicycle.
So that's why we thought that would be a good opportunity for us to start a project that we study how do we connect those bicycles together to build a network for cyclists.
The students did hands-on work to figure out how to develop efficient sensors.
Also coming up with the layout for the system container was pretty fun because we had to figure out how to optimize it so it was space efficient and there's no like overheating with any of the components and stuff. So
Figuring all this out is meant to make cycling more enjoyable and safer. Cycling in the US isn't a common way to commute, but here in Flagstaff, about 8% of people use bikes to get around.
We kind of have this category of bicyclists that we call interested but concerned, where maybe they're interested in using a bike, but if they don't feel safe on the facility, they likely won't.
The bike sensors could help. Each sensor identifies potential hazards and detects bumps in the road.
So if there's a crack or like a stick that you run over, it has an X, Y, and Z axis. So however you run over it, those axes will change.
By running some initial tests, the students have found that
So this is a pretty rough road.
there are lots of cracks in the bike lanes in the Flagstaff area. The sensors are paired with a mobile app. And once the hazard is detected, the cyclist will be notified of its location so they can avoid it and ride safely.
We're doing this project to show people where is a bump so the government or the clients will know there is a bump they need to fix or there's a very big bump so you need to watch out.
Ho and his team hope that cycling becomes a safe and popular form of transportation with this technology.
If we can provide safer, informed cycling environment that the people are willing to use cycling as their daily transportation mode.
In Flagstaff, Autriya Maneshni, Cronkite News.